Welcome back to part 2 of Module 8, Lesson 1, where we're going to continue our study in vertical and adjacent angles. We start off with a Learn to Identify Adjacent Angle slides. That's resource number 14 for me. And it starts off with the definition. It says two angles are adjacent if they share a common vertex, a common side, and do not overlap. That, of course, will be one of the many vocabulary terms you get on your vocab quizzes during this module. They want us to take and identify the different angles here. So in words, we can say that angle 1 is adjacent to angle 2 is adjacent to angle 3 is adjacent to angle 4, and angle 4 is adjacent to angle 1. From here, we could also say it with symbols. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent, angle 2 and angle 3 are adjacent, and so on down the list. Now this diagram is showing three intersecting lines, which we don't generally use in math for adjacent angles, but they want us to take and identify any angle to see if it is going to be adjacent. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to hit angle 6. They say angle 6 is going to be adjacent to angle 5, and angle 6 is going to be adjacent to angle 1. What if I took and selected angle 3? Well, angle 3 is going to be adjacent to angle 4, and angle 2 is going to be adjacent to angle 3 as well. If I selected 5 over here, angle 5 is adjacent to angle 6, and angle 5 is going to be adjacent to angle 4. Next, they want us to name the angles that are going to be adjacent to angle 1. Well, this is angle 1 right here. So what angles are going to be adjacent to it? Well, that is going to be angle 2 here and angle 6 here. So because angle 1 shares a common side and vertex with angle 2, they're adjacent angles. And it says what other side does? Well, that's going to be angle 6. So angle 6 and angle 1 are adjacent, and angle 2 and angle 1 are also going to be adjacent. I believe from here we're going to get to do a extra example 4. That one's going to be for you to do. Pause the video and work on this one on your own. So let's take a look at this one. We want angles that are adjacent to 6. So what two angles are touching angle 6? Well, we have angle 1 is it, and angle 5 is also touching angle 6. So those are going to be your only two correct answers. It really is that simple, folks. And now we're going to learn how to use adjacent angles to find missing values, again with a video.
You can use adjacent angles to find an unknown value. Adjacent angles have a common vertex and a common side. They also do not overlap. Angle AEB and angle BEC are adjacent angles. If two adjacent angles form a straight angle, then the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Angle AEB and angle BEC form a straight angle. Write an equation by substituting for each angle measure.
Now let me point out, this one they're doing very different from the vertical angles. The vertical angles, they set the two of them equal to each other. On the adjacent angles, they're adding the two of them and then setting that equal to 180.
The measure of angle AEB is given by the expression 5x. The measure of angle BEC is 115 degrees. The last step is to solve the equation to find the value of x. The value of x is 13.
And of course, you're going to need to show the big kid math you would use to isolate the variable to get to that answer. And that leads us to example 5, which says write and solve an equation to find the value of x. And right here, well, this one they took and did not give us two angles that made a straight line, but they did tell us that the measure of angle ABD, that's the two of them combined, is going to equal to 180 degrees. So, 128 degrees. So with that information, we can still make an equation to solve it. So we're going to start off by saying that that's 5x, that's going to be this one right here, plus the 63 degrees right here is going to equal to the 128 degrees you see right there. That's going to set equal. This is the equation we're going to use to isolate the variable. From here, we isolate the variable just like all the other two-step equations we've worked. undo addition and subtraction by subtracting 63 on both sides. That gave us 5x is equal to 65. Undo multiplication and division by dividing 5 on both sides, and that gave us x equals 13. So measure of angle x for this one is going to be 13 degrees, and of course that is showing your work. So for this problem, they wanted us to start off by writing an equation to represent the information that is given to us, and then to isolate the variable to find out what the value of x is going to be. So in doing that, we're going to jump over to right here, and I'm going to acknowledge some things. First thing I'm going to acknowledge is the fact that when I take and add these two angles together, I get a straight line. And the measure of a straight line is going to be 180 degrees. So now I can take and set it up as the angle 115 degrees plus angle 5x is going to equal to that straight line, which is 180 degrees. Let's jump over to our textbook and type that part in. So we're going to take and say 115 plus 5x is equal to 180, and we'll check that. That part checks, and now all we have to do is isolate the variable to finish our problem. We're going to do that by undoing addition and subtraction. I'm going to subtract x's friend, which is a positive 115, from both sides. When I do that, the 115s on the left zero out, leaving me 5x, and on the right hand side, 180 minus 115 is going to be 65. Next, I'm going to undo multiplication and division by dividing 5 on both sides. These divide out to become 1. 1 times x is x. And 65 divided by 5, that's going to be 13. So my final answer is going to be x equals 13. So we're going to jump back over here, type in our 13, hit check, and that's it. That is going to be it for Module 8, Lesson 1. You all stop your video, start working on your homework. Make sure you're giving me the good quality supporting work that I gave you in this lesson.